The Many Faces of Weakness, Myron Gaines. He built a kingdom on confidence, on verbal takedowns, on the illusion of invulnerability. But kingdoms built on sand collapse. Meet Myron Gaines. Outspoken, charismatic, influential in the world of online masculinity. A man whose brand was power, who told younger men how to handle women, how to dominate, how to never show weakness. Tonight, we expose the cracks. We lift the mask, because what we uncover isn't just the downfall of one man. It's a blueprint of what happens when emotion rules in place of wisdom, when objectification replaces respect, and when we confuse image with character. Stay until the end, because the lessons here are yours to claim, to avoid repeating. The many faces of weakness are waiting for you, if you dare to see them. Myron Gaines launched into the public eye as the Fit in his duo brand, Fresh and Fit podcast. A former federal agent turned influencer, he promised men mastery over fitness, finances, and women. The narrative was seductive. Forget being a spectator in life. Become the actor, the doer, the high-value man. On Red Pill Wednesday, the message was clear. You must ascend. You must dominate. You must never appear weak. But here's the first mask. Strength had become the brand. Emotion had become taboo. Displaying vulnerability, unacceptable. Doubt, a liability. So he wore the armor. He played the part. And the world applauded. But the armor isn't real. And when cracks appear, those in armor bleed the same as the unguarded. The mask gave him influence, but influence demands maintenance, and every mask has seams. In August 2023, the empire hit a major blow. Fresh and Fit was demonetized by YouTube. Myron announced it live, and for the first time the audience saw him break. He choked up. He faltered at the mic. The facade faltered. That moment is emblematic. A man who told others about emotional control lost his own. A man who promised high-value, unflinching strength crumpled under his business model. But the business model wasn't the only crack. The content itself began to betray him. For years, the podcast pushed a worldview that reduced humans, especially women, to assets, to performance metrics, to used goods. In November 2024, a viral segment exposed how a guest, a black woman, was demeaned and attacked on the podcast by Myron and his co-host. In December 2024, Myron responded to a comedian's critique with language so shocking it provoked outrage. He compared a man to being placed in a concentration camp to diet and exercise. These were not slip-ups, they were windows into worldviews. They were cracks in the mask. When your brand is built on dominance, the slightest hint of vulnerability or hypocrisy becomes a fissure, and when you treat others as objects, you lose your own humanity. Weakness appears, not as softness but as fragility, and Myron's fragility was showing. Let's count these faces. Each is a lesson, each is a warning. Face 1. Emotional reactivity. One of Stoicism's core teachings. Don't let your impressions carry you away. Yet Myron often let rage, disdain, frustration dictate his voice. He raised his voice. He smashed objects. Yes, visibly. He turned disagreement into hostility. Weakness isn't silence. It's surrendering to the moment. When you lash instead of reflect, you give control away. Face 2. Moral hypocrisy. He told men to be high value, to demand respect, to avoid being used. And yet his own narrative often used women, objectified them, ridiculed them. He called some women used goods in his book. First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. When your action betrays your word, you undermine not just your brand, you undermine your integrity. Phase 3. Objectification and dehumanization. Women became winnings. Black women became stereotypes. He spoke of preferences but layered them with disdain. In the black manosphere context, this is not simple dating talk, it's misogynoir. Stoic wisdom reminds us every human is rational and dignified. Phase 4. Dependence on external power. Likes, views, monetization, clout. His empire leaned on the applause of the crowd. When YouTube turned off the tap, he faltered. When subscribers peeled away, the mask slipped again. A Stoic man anchors his worth within. Not in the ad revenue, not in the subscriber count. Because external things die, fade, change, character remains. Phase 5. Suppression and attack of dissent. Critique came from former fans, from guests, Abba and Preach, commentary YouTubers, women who spoke out. Instead of engagement, Myron responded with DMCA strikes, threats, hostility. A true Stoic doesn't fear opposition. They refine themselves by it. The man who silences dissent is the man who fears the truth more than the applause. When you see these faces of weakness, you're not just seeing Myron, you're seeing any of us, because these traps are universal. And the Stoic teaches, observe, recognize, prevent. Let's go deeper. There's one incident that will haunt him, the segment with singer Nia Mackenzie in late 2024. She appeared on the podcast, answered questions, only to be mocked and demeaned in real time. Clips circulated, the public saw the ugliness. One moment stands out, the hosts shifting from dating advice to racial stereotypes. Black women were called shaniquas, ratchet, told they were lesser. This wasn't casual banter, this was contempt dressed as entertainment. Myron's reaction, not apology, not reflection, rather defiance, more aggression. That's face to face with weakness. You mistake fear for strength. Then there's the book, Why Women Deserve Less, where Myron writes, all men are Johns, all women are whores. A man who seeks respect for himself then writes an entire treatise that denies respect to half of humanity. That is moral self-sabotage. And let's talk about the meltdown, the public choke-up when the channel was demonetized. The man who told others to control their emotions broke down. There is beauty in falling, only if you learn from it. There is tragedy in staying fallen.
And no one fucking respects you because you fuckers don't stand for nothing. If I stand with fresh, I die with fresh. It is what it is, okay? It is what it is, you motherfuckers. Oh shit, it's getting shaky. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave. I got 20 real estate properties so I can tell you, my net worth is over $6 million. I get money residually. I don't fucking.
Myron didn't just falter, he stacked the failures, each one on top of the other, and the mask shattered. When your words treat others as objects, your image becomes your prison. When you lead by fear, your followers scatter. When you suppress critique, you bury the seed of your integrity. Myron's story mirrors this arc, and you can learn from it, so you don't repeat it. Now, let's pivot. This isn't just about Myron Gaines, it's about you, about resilience, about character, about seeing your own reflection in his mistakes and choosing a different path. Lesson 1. Know your emotional triggers. When anger, fear, shame swell inside, pause. Ask, is this my rational judgment or an impulse? Stoic Marcus Aurelius said, how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? When Myron's mug shattered on the floor, that was not a strength display, that was emotional eruption. The wise man remains calm. Lesson 2. Align your words and actions. Epictetus taught, don't say you will do what you won't do. Myron told men to be high value, to never be used, yet his own framework used people. Integrity is the backbone of resilience. Lesson 3. Regard every human being with dignity. Seneca, we are waves of the same sea, leaves of the same tree, flowers of the same garden. When you reduce someone to a label, you reduce yourself to a label. Myron's dehumanizing language about women and black women especially wasn't merely mean, it was weak. Because he gave power away to contempt.
We got a dumb bimbo talking about, well, I do porn, but I don't want
Lesson 4. Cultivate value from within. The crowd cheers, money flows, platform grows. But what happens when the platform disappears? The Stoic man says, "My worth comes from virtue, not applause." Myron's empire collapsed because its foundation was external. Yours doesn't have to be. Lesson 5. Embrace critique. Refine yourself. When people challenge you, don't deflect, don't attack. Engage. Grow. The man who fears scrutiny never becomes wise. Myron attempted to silence dissent. That's not strength, it's fragility under the guise of power. Ask yourself, which of these lessons are you ignoring? Which mask are you wearing that's begging to crack? Myron Gaines isn't just someone to mock, he's someone to study, because his rise and fall reveals more than myths about online masculinity. It reveals truths about all of us. The many faces of weakness aren't exotic, they're ordinary. They show up in boardrooms, in relationships, in your social posts, in your private life. They show up when you choose image over substance. Now, your turn. Make this a moment of choice. Will you anchor your worth in applause or virtue? Will you be the man or woman who uses others, or the one who uplifts them? Will you be the one who reacts, or the one who reflects? Here's your commitment. Pause before speaking when you feel triggered. Live your word even when no one watches. Treat every human with dignity, your mother, your partner, the one you walk past on the street. Find your value in quiet purpose, not in public metrics. Welcome criticism. Test your beliefs in the fire of challenge. If you do this, you won't just avoid the fate of Myron Gaines. You'll build something far stronger than an empire of followers. You'll build a fortress of character. If you found yourself watching tonight, waiting for the lessons, waiting for the clarity, then thank you. Because the path of integrity is less traveled, and it starts with seeing your own reflections, good and bad. Don't just walk away from this video, transform. If this video challenged you, like it, subscribe for more deep dives into real stories and real wisdom, share it with someone who's chasing image. In the comments, tell me, which one of the 5 faces of weakness hit you hardest? I'll be there with you. Until next time, stand firm, be wise, be unbreakable.